Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the power of friendship when it comes to mental health.
You called?
Seamless.
No, what do you mean? I just teleported in. It was magical. Did you not see the burst?
A wild Lena appeared.
Hello.
Welcome to my channel, and my good friend Lena. We've been friends for a good 6 years now.
6 years, yeah.
We met at university when I tripped over Lena at a house party, and she was just, haphazardly lying across the floor because there physically wasn't room to get into the actual party itself. And we were too cool to attend the actual party.
Well, it was actually it was a tactic to gain friends, almost like a kind of trawl or a boat. You just put your legs across the corridor, and whoever falls over them has to be your friend. It's the law.
Yes, I like that law. I'm going to start applying that to my everyday life.
So I suppose, like Ellie said, it's a video about the power of friendship. So who better to talk about that than two friends who have been supporting each other over the past while. We've already said a little bit about how we met. I think we've been through the circus of despair and hope that is university together.
It's a roller coaster.
A roller coaster, which I think you've talked about in one of your other videos, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I've touched upon life at uni, which is an incredibly intense time, but it is also such a high as well. And then I've talked about the time that follows university, that postgraduate depression almost, that funk that a lot of people go through, even if they don't classify it as depression itself. And during that time, the first flat I had after graduating university and going through that transition was my flat with Lena, when we lived together and shared a space and supported one another. And so we thought it was really important to make a video just about how we did that.
Yeah, so we both did go through this kind of postgraduate depression phase. And I think the important thing to say is that I think any friendship has like struggles and things, and we definitely did like have arguments with each other during that time, and that happens. But I suppose what we're going to go through is that even the best friendships have like struggles and things, and but they're very important because when you have a very good friend, and by that I mean someone that you can kind of rely on for support and can trust, it can be fantastic, especially when you're going through a bad time with mental health. Like, I know that a major foundation of our friendship has been something terrible or depressing has been happening, and one of us came back to the flat and was just like, help me, I need to unload all of these things that have happened to me to feel a little bit better.
Yeah. Even before we were living together, Lena and I would always seek each other out for these cathartic chats over a cup of tea or over a movie. We used to have very British movie nights, watching things like the Cornetto trilogy, and just vent about life, vent about your mental health, what is affecting you in this time, and just knowing that there's someone on the other end of a phone that you can reach that is going to understand you that way is so helpful and so reassuring. No matter what we were going through in our own lives, we always knew there's that person that I can turn to that understands me on that level,
Definitely. So the mutual venting, that's an important part, I suppose, of a mental health thing, support friendship. I think it's also helpful to just try and find someone that you can be open with. Like, I think it was because we were both at university and did not know very many people there. That's where our sort of connection came from on a bit of a deeper level. But there are other ways to find it as well. And I think just even taking that leap and being like, okay, so if you have someone you really trust, and you think that they are, if they listen to you, it's sometimes, if you're going through something bad, worth saying, yeah, I'm not having a very good time just now.
Yeah.
Because that can be the start of a kind of very mutually supportive friendship.
Yeah, because then that person knows your limits. They know, okay, this person may not have a certain amount of energy on a day, and you may have to adapt to that. You may have to meet them one-to-one. Not have to, but that's what you want to do as a friend, if that makes sense. So knowing how to help your friend with their mental health when they're not feeling up to that party or up to that amount of energy that they're going to have to expend. You can still be there for them and reassure them that they'll get that invite next time. They will still be welcome next time, regardless of the fact that they may have to skip out on this one. They may not be at work right now. You're reassuring them and helping them to feel like they are still important to your life. Me and Lena have been so present in each other's lives, and we've been reassuring each other every step of the way that that person is amazing. Lena leads a very interesting life. I'm going to talk about her blog a bit later on, but please do follow Lena's life. And we are just incredibly positive influences over each other's lives, even if internally you may not individually feel like a positive person. Having a friend that reminds you of all the good things that you are, even though you may not be seeing it yourself, can really change your perspective and get a fresh perspective on that from someone who both understands and has gone through their own mental health themselves as well.
And I think the root of that, I know certainly for me, the root of that is, presumably you're friends with people because you like what they do, you like who they are, you want to see them do their best, right? That's kind of what we all hope for from friends. And the reason why, I think we've both taken that little step out and actually thought a little bit more about that person when we're maybe not seeing them as much, etc., is because, I want to see my friend doing the best. And if I'm not hearing from them as much, that's maybe a cue that something's wrong. So let's go and check in with them to make sure that, I can help them out.
I think that's really important what you've touched on there, sending the first message, because you may feel like a burden in times of mental health. I go through anxiety and depression and battle that on a daily basis, and the anxiety part of that in particular can make me feel like I am worthless and I am just burdening my friends. But if you are a supportive friend who knows someone that's going through mental health and you're able to send that first message, that can make all the difference, irregardless of what it says. Just something like, you matter, how are you doing, how's your life, just checking in with that friend, sending a first message is so important.
It can even be just as simple as like pestering someone. Sometimes, especially if like for instance, I've had quite a lot of struggles with depression. And sometimes just sending someone an email saying like, hey, there's a night out in 3 days, and then keep sending an email about it for the next like couple of days. Sometimes if you feel like someone needs to be kind of a bit more social or is maybe not very confident in going out by themselves, just drag them out sometimes and get them to experience a bit more of the world. That can make a difference to like a whole week, a whole month, anything like that. And in addition to like being the one to send that first message and stuff, it's also very helpful if you know someone has like a specific condition or sometimes feels a certain way, for instance with depression or anxiety, it can help to do a little bit of research into that. So if someone has anxiety, maybe watch some videos about depression or anxiety. I'm not sure where you would find those.
The magical land of the internet.
Or just do some more research on the magical land of the internet, because it is the best way to support someone is to
ask the person themselves.
They'll
probably really appreciate it. Just like anything else, if you feel ignorant in a topic, it's not ignorant to ask. It's actually really shows a lot of strength and a lot of character that you are asking, you want to know,
And some of the stuff that we've done to support each other might sound really dumb. I know when we were both struggling to look for that flat after university, we had this little thing where we would just put a little picture, like cute pictures of animals, like otters or something, on our little document we sent back and forth, with possible flats.
Brightening each other's day.
Yeah, just
so important.
Tiny little things to keep ourselves bright.
Yeah, that's so important. And what you're saying about like taking someone out if you realize they're not getting a lot of time outdoors, even though those cliches are not right for everybody, get more water, get more outside oxygen. I have a friend, Jamie Smith, friends with both of us, who often, if he knows that I've not been out in the day, he'll take me out for walks. He'll make sure that I get a bit of a walk, even though walking is not something that I generally enjoy. It can help just to get out and break up the scenery a wee bit, get a change of scene, and just that can help so much. Like, we have so many good friends that understand mental health and at the same time are going through their own mental health themselves, and I feel like we both support those friends in different ways because we both have different experiences. Lena herself has experienced depression much like myself, but both our stories are totally different. So you have to really tailor how you are to a person and how you support a person to that person, and just ask how a person wants to be supported.
And all these things we've been mentioning, they do take effort. So it's one of those things of, it might seem sometimes like a little bit of a struggle, like, I need to go and message this person just to make sure they're okay. But I think even in times where it does seem like that, the thing to remember is that it does grow the friendship. Like, I know that, you're definitely one of my very, very closest friends.
Same.
And I hold you very dear, and that's because there's been so much effort put in, which just makes the connection between you deeper. And so it can actually be a fantastic tool simply for just continuing a friendship.
Yeah, just be patient with your friends. The ones that may not always be attending, might not always be messaging back, they are still there, and it's not personal. It's not personal the reason that they are not messaging you. When they say they're busy, that busyness could be something like, I'm just trying to get back to me at the moment, you know?
Yeah. I think everyone needs time away to readjust themselves, or even sometimes when cases of depression and stuff, you are just maybe a bit too exhausted or just not ready to be in contact with people for that long. And accepting that is another big part, I think, of supportive mental health relationships, is accepting when that, like, learning to accept and recognize when that person is just simply not up for hanging out, because it will happen sometimes. I think the other point I'd like to make is it can be easy sometimes to think that you don't have any friends, especially if you're going through a very kind of difficult phase with depression, anxiety, other mental health disorders and stuff. And at those times, I think it's important to remember what we're posting this video on the internet. Like, sometimes you can go out and there are communities, especially on Reddit, things like that. There are lots of communities of people who will, like r/anxiety, will suffer from anxiety, and there are whole threads on there who are like, hey, do you have nobody else to talk about these feelings with? If so, talk to me. And I know there's another one of my friends who I have a very deep friendship with. She gets a lot of her support from online communities, and I think those friendships can be just as real and just as close
Really
as in-person friendships.
It helps you to feel that you're not alone, because mental health can be so isolating to a person, and communities like the online community it's a wealth of information out there, and a wealth of people that are real live humans that you may not get the chance to meet in real life, but you can connect with them over the internet. So yeah, you're so right there. And I think
the internet is magic. I think is that everything we had to say in this big
that love fest of this is how to help your friends.
Do you want a hug?
I think we should hug.
Come here.
Hug it out. Thank you, mate. It's been great having you today, and thank you so much for offering to be in the video. It's been a privilege.
And
to hear your story.
So thank you, by the way, for summoning me into the world of physical space. It's brilliant here, because, like Ellie was saying, I do post stuff online, specifically about mental health, and also about gender and transition in gender, etc. Although it usually exists only in a blog form, I've been stuck on the internet trying to speak with words and text written only, and now I've been summoned into the physical world, and it's all quite new to me.
You have a great physical presence as well, but Lena's also a fantastic writer, and I highly recommend that you follow her blog. I'll link it in the description below. What did you call it?
The doobly-doo. It's a YouTube thing.
See, I'm a baby YouTuber, so I didn't know these things, but I'll link it in the doobly-doo, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Bye!